In a world of dungeons, dragons, and devious DMs, 4 adventurers set out to save the mysterious land of Blaelflow.
I'm Frank Bunty, Dwarven Paladin and all-round badass. I like nothing more than righting wrongs and smiting evil.
I'm Bonarail, a half-elf rogue that'll rob you blind and mess you up.
I'm Lord Sugar, a human wizard noble. I'm rich, I'm better than everyone, and I set fire to everything.
I'm Draco Justice, Dragonborn Monk. For when justice calls, who will answer? I will. I'm Draco Justice.
And I'm Doddy, the resident DM. I'll be throwing everything at these guys, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, a mimic kitchen sink.
Nerd OD&D from the Nod Network. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you get podcasts.
They were like, how am I supposed to be scared of these when all I want to do is motorboat this vampire lady?
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast with your most fantabulous host, Reginaldo.
And your less fantabulous host, Dan.
You always shoot yourself down when, in retrospect, you are the most fantabulous host and I'm the lesser.
You are just shooting yourself up. Wait, no, that doesn't sound right.
No.
We don't condone that sort of thing here at the Nerd OD podcast.
That's right. Don't you know that drugs are way uncool?
I like it. And also, that is a really good segue into my first subject that I want to talk about, but it's too early to start talking about that. So
I was going to say, I think I know what you want to talk about, which is on my list of things I want to talk about.
Do you?
As well.
Then you don't know what I want to talk about. But I'm glad that you have Shenmue to talk about, because that will segue into what I want to talk about.
Okay, interesting. Dudes, how are you anyway, sir?
I'm not so bad. You know, lockdowns dragging on a little bit, but it's fine because there's not really anything to do outside. It's freezing cold and horrible and snowy and
you are
rubbish.
Living your best life in lockdown. Like I was telling I went to tell my dad about the like some of the videos that you've been making. Because obviously with Oliver deciding that I'm not going to sleep anymore. There's been a few videos that you've put up that I haven't had a chance to watch because like work and life and stuff.
How rude.
But I'm like, you know what? At least I do, mate. I'm the only one of all of us that makes sure that I've watched every single video you've put out that, you know, I just want to see what it's like.
I'd say I don't want you to do it out of obligation, but if you're interested, that looks like it might be.
It is out of interest because, you know, we talk about the things that we actually like, so I know for a fact that if you put it on our page, I'm going to like it. So it's as obvious as that. So I was telling my dad, obviously, that you start, because he watched your old Japanese videos, and I was saying that you put up like another load of them, and he was like, yeah, do you know what I'm really, really wanting to do now, and I think we're going to do it the weekend? Like, what's that? And he was like, make one of those, I'm going to say the name wrong again, but okonomiyakis.
Okonomiyaki, well done. They will accept omonomiyaki because
it is very omonomy.
Very accurate.
He watched that video and he loved it. He was like saying that the editing of that video, and he's very correct. It's one of the nicest production videos that we've done. I love the font that goes all across the walls and stuff.
That was yeah. I mean, I agree. I really like how that came out, but that was not planned. That was like, oh, that'll look good because of the angle of the camera.
Yeah, it was really well done. My dad loved it, and then went down a little rabbit hole and just watched like all the videos that you've been making. I was like, all right, okay, Sam, fair enough. And he had a go at me because apparently I don't do much. I was like, oh, I'm part of the audio content, and
this is something I've kind of wrestled with. I'm doing really well at releasing a video every week, and that would be great because when you look at 2020's videos, I think there was maybe 7 or 8. Obviously, we can't go and do stuff, so it's not like you guys. It can be in videos. It's not the easiest thing to do something other than if we're doing it over Skype or whatever. So at least we've got the Christmas pod and we've got the Nerdo D&D and, you know, a couple of little things like that. And then we were doing all the Internet Sings videos. So we were sort of, in some cases, briefly featured in them. But that's about the limit, you know. Even when restrictions were sort of loosened, it still wasn't really a good idea to waste that limited time we had on going and doing stuff together. So it means that it sort of makes sense that me and Shell end up doing loads of videos together, because fortunately she really enjoys doing it, and she's all right at it. So I was sort of like, people who are subscribed to our channel, are they going to be getting fed up of like, oh look, it's another travel video, oh look, it's a Japanese cooking video, this isn't what I subscribe for? I just don't know what, there's never been really a straight like, this is what our channel is, sort of. It's not obvious, is it? I don't think there is one thing that we could put.
But if you have a look at our little reel on YouTube, like our launch thing, it does stay on there that we do travel and
it says travel and
stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of that. And you've also got to think the things that you encompass in the video is still like, theme park that you go over there, like, tourist attractions when you go over to Japan and stuff, like the food and stuff that's over there, like the nerdy culture that's over there. So it's not like, here's some gardens, here's a mountain, here's a Shinju shrine. It's like nothing.
Exactly.
It's like,
so exactly. I figure that it's the sort of things that would be remotely interesting to some people. And ultimately, I was like, should I put these on my own channel that I haven't touched in years? That had I know some people found Nerd OD from these videos of us in Florida that ended up with like 40,000 views. This really bad old video of us running around theme parks. That channel I haven't really touched in years because I sort of concentrated on this instead. But then I'm like, well, no, because that's only got like 240 subscribers. I want 1,500 subscribers to be able to potentially see my videos.
Yeah.
and like I say, it is mostly relevant. I was curious whether any of you guys were like, oh, look, another Japan video. Oh, look, another Japan video. Because I've done 3. I did 1 a week, obviously, and then I took a week off from them and did the Okonomiyaki video. But that was great. Getting the all the free stuff from Otafuku was awesome. Now I know how like these influencers feel, and not that I remotely would ever want to be regarded as an influencer. I hate that term. But they're like, oh, look at all this free stuff I got, these PR boxes. They just sent me loads of free stuff. Oh, there's these movies and this makeup and these clothes. Like, it's crazy. But it was awesome to be like, oh, look what all this free stuff we just got sent.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, while it wasn't like they went, excuse me, would you like to make a video on this? They were, I'm pretty certain we got picked out of the people who got to do it. I think there was about maybe a dozen, maybe 15 people who got to do it. They asked for all your social networking stuff, so I'd be pretty confident they saw it and went, oh, okay, these guys are likely to share this a little bit wider. So that's good. It's always nice getting free stuff based on the fact that we have a channel. And then actually, as soon as I put that up, I tagged a lot of the people involved, like the cooking school and stuff. They messaged and were like, would you like to do one of our other classes for free? It's normally 25 quid. They sent me a voucher so I could do it for free, and we made really ridiculously fancy sushi. Which
I see the messages and I was like, do I answer before Dan does and say yes, and then do like a funny little twist on a video? But
yeah, you do the video where it's just the worst sushi you've ever seen. No, well, I'm assuming you've never made it, right?
No, I don't like fish, so it wouldn't be great.
We never put fish in it. It's fine.
Didn't you?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that was nice. But back to I've got another, I think, 3 minimum Japan travel videos to finish it all off. Got Hakone, which is like a hot spring resort, which is a really nice one, and then Osaka and Kyoto, which I think they'll probably just encompass 1 video each. In Osaka, we did one of the most ridiculous but also kind of bizarrely fun things we've done, and this will be a really fun little bit for the video. We climbed the 2nd shortest mountain in Japan.
Nice.
It's like a little hill. There's a little statue at the top, and there's a sign, and it says this is officially the sign says this is officially the shortest mountain in Japan. And apparently you can claim that anything is a mountain. So any hill, you can just say, yes, this is a mountain. So they were like, well, let's get some tourists down at this end of Osaka where nobody goes, and we'll say we've got the shortest mountain. It's been taken over by another mountain that was shorter, unfortunately, in the last couple of years. But the best thing is if you then go to one of the local shops, buy some of their food, you can ask them for a certificate. So we've got this little certificate, this stamped official thing that says we climbed the second shortest mountain in Japan. It was just, we had nothing to do really on the last day. We were like, this would be a fun little thing to go and do. So we went and did that.
Nice.
So yeah, there's the clickbaited thumbnail. Like, we climbed the second shortest mountain in Japan.
That is a good one.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're all about the clickbait. Anyway, I forget what our point was at the beginning of this, but yeah, it'll
just make some awesome videos.
Yeah, we'll keep going, and then we've got hopefully it's all starting to come together. I have all these wild and crazy ideas and never do anything with them, but hopefully this one will. But we're going to start. I think I mentioned it before, but at least we've got a name now. We're going to start a new series called Nerd IQ, so which will go out as a podcast, but also as a video sort of podcast on YouTube and Facebook, where any of you guys who want to, so by you guys I mean listeners, can challenge one of the Nerd OD people to show who is the more knowledgeable nerd. So yeah, that'll be fun, I think.
See, it's always interesting because I think that my general knowledge and stuff and certain subjects, I'm like, yeah, I'm amazing at that. And then you go and watch, like, read like an article on something, or you go watch like a video of something, or join like a fan page or something. You're like, oh wow, I did not know that. I did not know that. I did not know. And you start going through and like, I genuinely thought I was really clever at this, sort of, like, or knowledgeable about like the Shenmue subject and stuff. And then you're like, oh shit, turns out I'm not really as in depth as what I thought I was.
It's like when you watch Mastermind, someone on Mastermind does a good subject once, like the MCU or Kevin Smith movies, and you're like, oh great, this will be brilliant. You watch it like, nope, don't know that.
Yeah.
Not sure. But yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a nice little bit of video content to go up, and yeah, it'll be fun. So I was toying with QOD, which sounds kind of like QED, which but and then I was like, no wait, Nerd IQ, and that sort of works. I think that's a nice little name.
Yeah, wanna be
all the best stuff starts with a name.
That's it, mate. That is absolutely it.
What else did we have? We had Nerd OP, which was a nerd opinion piece, which I think we had a couple of them written. I might, if I ever decided to start up my interview series, which I was thinking of doing, seeing if I could message a bunch of people on Twitter and say, hey, would you do an interview because you've got nothing to do? That was going to be called Nerd ID. So,
nice.
Always starts with a name.
It does. It does. I think one of my favourites was Review. I really like that one.
Oh, that was great. Absolutely. I wish we could keep doing that, but not being.
You could watch something on like HBO Max or something, and then run and go sit in your car.
Yeah.
And be like, sure. We just watched this. And then, there's no reason why I'm in my car to do it, but still. Or just use a green screen to pretend that you're in the car.
That would work.
That'd be nice.
Anyway, enough of blowing our own YouTube trumpet.
Fair enough. It's a shame. But speaking of trumpets being blown, I'm finally now digging Wandavision. So
okay.
I think it does deserve its praise of I think my issue is
after watching this episode.
It did the sitcom thing too well, to the stage where like my variety of comedy.
Oh yeah, it's not that
like dark humor and silly.
Yeah.
Rather than sort of family friendly, and I think that my issue was, and the other thing was, I'm not a fan of black and white. Anything in black and white bores me for some reason. I don't know why. It just can't hold my attention.
Right.
And I think that was part of my issue with the first two episodes.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, here we go. So when it started getting a bit better in the third one, it was in colour. And I was like, I wonder if that's the trend.
See, the first, after the first two episodes, we talked about it, and that's generally what I said. I wasn't necessarily putting you in that group, but I said I worry that people are going to watch it and be like, what what is this? Why am I watching a sitcom? And it, if that's all it was just like, here's these two characters in a weird sitcom for the whole thing. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be that interesting. But as Sean said last week, it was the thing that kept me, and I think probably a lot of people going, was like looking out for the little things and wondering how it's going to tie in. And if they'd dragged it on any longer, it probably would have been too much. But it was just at the right point, I think, for them to go, look, here is a regular episode of a TV show. And you know what? It finally showed what the quality of these Marvel TV shows, the Disney Plus TV shows, are going to be. I mean, granted, everyone's watched The Mandalorian at this point, and that just oozes movie quality. It is just amazing. But watching the sitcom parts, it's hard to know. It was hard to know that it was going to be of the quality of the movies. It could have turned out that it was that a Marvel Disney Plus TV show was just going to look like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that, or Arrow. Something just not really up there. Decent quality, but not massive budget. But that episode it looked like you were watching half an hour of one of the movies.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it made me think, this actually could have been released as a film, because they're probably about 25 minutes when you take all the credits out, and there's going to be 8 episodes, so you're looking at about 3.5 hours worth of TV, which isn't actually far off what a movie would be. But at the same time, because of the concept of the TV show, it works really well as a short form TV. But yeah, amazing. And should we say straight away that there's spoilers here, because I don't want to tiptoe around anything. Just go and get Disney Plus now while it's cheap, because it's going up in 2 weeks. In fact, that's something else we'll talk about in a second. I want to talk about why it's going up and why it's actually really awesome. But yeah, so what were your takeaways from it?
So the thing I love is Jeremy Woo. Yeah. I love him because I watch Fresh Off the Boat, and he plays the dad in that, and I loved him in Ant-Man, and one of the first things I loved is he finally mastered the magic trick. That
was brilliant.
With the card. I was like, that's a lovely little throwback.
Yeah, in Ant-Man versus Ant-Man and the Wasp, he always getting on at Hank Pym about the teaching him close-up magic, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then the first time he introduces himself, he has a card and it appears in his hand. Brilliant. Nice little touch. I love that they are bringing all these little characters back as well, and I wonder at what point did they know that a character like that was going to have more roles.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be interesting. So because they've done the timeline now as well, and like Kat Dennings' character Darcy.
Yeah, that's great. I love that she's back.
Yeah, she's not going to be in the new Thor film apparently.
Right. Okay.
Because you thought she would be, especially with Jane.
I suppose that she was going to be in it. Yeah, Jane Foster's going to be in it.
Yeah, apparently during the interview they were doing the rounds for Wandavision, they were like, "Oh, so you're going to be excited to return for Thor?" And she was like, "Well, I've not had a call, so it being in production at the minute, genuinely don't think it's going to be happening." It's like, oh, interesting. But her character's brilliant in this. I like it has got the serious side to it, but it's also still got the nice Marvel humour, which shines through as well. Yeah. But I think even if I hadn't watched most of it, the scene that would have just made me go, "Yep, this is definitely worth the ride," was the scene where Vision starts, like when she sees Vision without the Mind Stone. But I was like, "Ooh, fuck, that's grim." And I like now how he is starting to sort of be a bit more self-aware that something's not right.
That's it. She keeps obviously resetting things, rewinding things, and it's clear that she's in control of it, even to the point where he doesn't really know what's going on, or he does, and he's starting to suspect it, and he's hiding it. Because if you watch the very last scene where she sort of rewinds time and everything, and then they're sat on the couch, and then the credits start to come up. If you watch his eyes, he's sort of sat there, he's got this smile on, and he looks to the side, looks at her like
really worried,
he's in danger. Looks back at the camera, but is then looking just above where the camera is, like he's looking, or above where the TV is rather, like he's looking directly at the camera, like he knows what's going on. it's so well done. It's one of those things that you got to end up watching these things like 2 or 3 times to pick up every last little clue.
Yeah,
it'll be well worth a rewatch, I think, once it's finished.
Yeah, I think so. Just to pick up on all the, like said, all the little tidbits.
You're like, oh yeah, of course, that and that. So well done. It's almost like an Avengers of all these little side characters, because you've got Darcy back, you've got the FBI guy, the magic FBI guy, you've got Maria Rambeau from Captain Marvel back. You know, all these little characters. They're just like, yeah, great. Let's bring them in. Let's put them in their own thing.
Yeah, I think hasn't she got the sort of another little Easter egg is when you look at her name plaque, and she's got the photon in it because she takes the moniker after her mum, doesn't she? Because in the comics it was a mum that's mates with, or in the comics she's Photon, but in Captain Marvel I think it was a mum that was mates with Captain Marvel in this or something, and that's when now she's obviously passed away through to the cancer, which was obviously referenced in this, and she's like, what? And now she's going to take the role on. Yeah,
it sounds like we'll get hints at that hopefully in a Captain Marvel 2. I hope, excuse me, I hope with Captain Marvel 2 they do a sort of a Wonder Woman thing in that they've shown Wonder Woman in Justice League and whatnot, present day, but those films are showing her back, previously, it was, before all this happened. So the first Captain Marvel was it early 90s?
Yeah.
It'd be good to see more. I mean, I can't see them just steamrolling over the fact that her mum helped set up S.W.O.R.D. and then died. That there'll be something relevant going on there. And also with the whole sentient weapon stuff and all the cosmic radiation stuff, that looks like that's going to set up Fantastic Four.
Yes.
It would be good.
That's, as I say, the fan theories are going crazy over that at the minute. So, which will be a nice way of bringing them in, because I was always intrigued to know how they're going to shoehorn them into the MCU, so to speak. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they go on with that one.
It is. It's going to be intriguing to see how the rest of the TV show pans out, to be honest. Part of me is really looking forward to seeing what other generations of sitcoms they do. Because obviously we had I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show, and the Brady Bunch. That was the last one. Have you seen the sizzle trailer for the what's to come up? Well, see, I'm waiting for the sort of the Friends style one. I'm curious what that looks like. But it looks like they're doing like a Modern Family. There's a bit where she's sat there talking to the camera. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. I love me some Modern Family. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But it's so worth watching if you're remotely into any of the Marvel stuff. But yeah, so at the minute it's for UK people it's $5.99 for Disney Plus, and it's going up to I think $7.99 if you sign up after the 25th of February. If you've got it before that, you keep it at that price. But the reason the price is going up is because Star is launching Star on Disney Plus. So in the States, any sort of more adult stuff, so anything that is not generally okay, like maybe PG or PG-13 and above that, is on Hulu, because Disney own Hulu, as far as I understand. But over here, obviously, there is no Hulu. So there's all these shows that you've been able to watch over on Hulu that the UK is just not had. Like I've gone on so many times that 24 is not on anything over in the UK. So it's crazy that, isn't it? I had to resort to putting DVDs into my PlayStation, like for the first time, and I don't know how long. So they've decided, well, okay, let's make a new sort of channel on Disney Plus. So obviously, when you go onto Disney Plus, you have Disney, you have Pixar, Marvel, National Geographic, Star Wars. So there's now going to be Star on Disney Plus, which is basically all the stuff that they wouldn't want on regular Disney Plus. They wouldn't want kids to be able to get access to. So it's going to be there as an extra tab, which you can parental control, lock it out or not. But there's such good stuff. There's not much that's original stuff. I think the cartoon made by the Rick and Morty people is coming out, Solar Opposites, which is supposed to be really good. That's going to be on it, and a few other shows that are not necessarily original for that. I think they were original for Hulu. And there's I can't remember what it's called. There's a Marvel show coming on it. Let me bring it up on Google. Disney Star UK. Everything coming to Star. Here we go. But yeah, I mentioned 24 because 24 is coming. Oh yeah, Hellstrom, which is like supposedly quite an adult Marvel TV show.
Right.
Yeah, and Solar Opposites and a couple of others that I'm not that interested in, but like series 1 and 2 of Atlanta's coming on, and series Buffy, Burn Notice. I haven't watched Burn Notice in so long. That was great. Castle, all the Family Guys coming on it. Firefly, finally, some channels got that. Modern Family. Modern Family is on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's going to be on Disney Star on Disney Plus. But no one has passed season 8.
Really?
Yeah, we've watched it. I mean, I watched it when it was first on, but Shell got into it, and we got up to season 8. In fact, we got up to season 7, and that was as much as anyone had. Then about 2 months ago, they got season 8 on Amazon and Netflix, and we watched that, and that was done. No one else has got past that. So even though there's 9 and 10, I think, it might even be 11. I think it's 9 and 10. That's not on there. We see Scrubs, Sleepy Hollow, Solar Opposites, Sons of Anarchy, X-Files, 24 Legacy, which just delete it. And a lot of films, there's a lot of good films. Braveheart's going to be on there, Reg. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's lots of old stuff, and there are people saying, why would I pay £2 more to watch, all this old stuff? But you know what? There's a lot of series on there that I'm looking forward to getting stuck back into. So I think it's good. And plus, Hulu do have some good exclusives, so I can imagine they're all going to make their way onto Disney Plus at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My issue with it is the name, because they all seem to be there's so many streaming services now that have Star in the thing, and there's like 2 or 3 different channels.
There is Stars, isn't there?
Yeah, there's Stars.
Stars,
Disney
which
Star.
is a channel that you can add on to Amazon, right?
Yeah, and then the Stars Play, which you can add on to Amazon as well, because that's what The Act was on. So we had to do like a free 7-day free trial in order to watch that one, and then cancel it. Coming through, but I keep on looking. I'm like, why are there so many Stars ones? Like, it's not even that great a name. Just literally choose a different name, and it'll be all right. But I am looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that's on the Disney Star, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then hopefully a load like the Foxy stuff and whatnot's going to come through on it, which I'm really looking forward to. As well, like the American Horror Stories and all that sort of stuff coming back.
Yeah.
And seeing like a lot more of the spin-offs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, while there is a lot of the old stuff, I think there's room, especially seeing how like a lot of like the Netflix originals are doing really well and stuff. And like, have you seen they released their roster of their film slate, Netflix, that's come up for 2021?
Yeah.
And so they've got like a shit ton, like one brand new film every single week for all of 2021. That's coming through. That's an exclusive to Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, about 20% of them are really bad teen romance films where there's, some princess wants to leave a castle and go and get married to some guy who's, they're all the same, aren't they? They're all these. A Christmas prince. A prince does something. A prince goes there. And prince.
Yeah.
But there's some good stuff. There's a film that's got Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and Gal Gadot in, right?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But all these streaming services, I mean, I know they're not particularly glad of this pandemic stuff, but at the same time, they're all like, right, brilliant, movie theaters are shut, let's just sweep up all the rest of the films that people have decided not to release. Anything that's not made by Warner Brothers, let's have.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? There is a shed ton coming through, which it was hard because I was like, right, okay, we're going to have to start looking at our packages and see which ones are worth keeping and which ones aren't, and get rid of. Like the one I still need to do. Tried to do it online, and this day and age is ridiculous. You can't. But Sky Cinema, you can't cancel online. Right. You've got to call them up and be like, I'd like to cancel this.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly so they can be like, well, how about you don't, and we offer you this. I'm like, I don't want it. And they're like, we've got just shy of 46 movies, I think it is, on the Sky Q box that we've downloaded that we've not watched. And it's not because we don't want to, because obviously at some point we would do. But there's that many films and stuff now that most of the ones we've recorded are all on these other streaming services, and like there's generally no point now.
No, I don't get why. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of extra stuff that I would just not watch on Sky, but when I got rid of Sky, I was like, I was worried that there was stuff I was going to miss. But then when I got Now TV for like £3 a month or something like that, everything I wanted on Sky was on that. So you can have. I mean, it's far worse in the States. People pay. I know I've talked to people who have Sky over here, and they're like, "Oh, I'm paying £120 for sports and movies," and which is insane. Like that is very typical in the States. Whereas now you can get you could get probably every single streaming service, and it's not going to take you over like the £50 mark.
Yeah,
you probably wouldn't.
That's true. Like,
I think Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus, and Now TV. You have those four. I think you're pretty much covered.
Yeah, well, I've got 3, and obviously in the Sky, like we do use Sky a hell of a lot for like the channels that aren't on like Now TV and stuff.
Right.
And there is a load of good stuff on it, but it's like the stuff which annoys me is like they were going to be apparently reducing the kids' price because they've removed all the Disney channels. And there's like 3 Disney channels on it.
Yeah.
And they haven't. They've not reduced it at all. And they just keep on increasing the price. Like it went originally from like, I think I was paying £42 a month instead of the 40 when we moved up to Sky Q multi-room, which I was like, you know what, that's fine. And now something's happened with the Sky Cinema package or whatever it is, and it's now gone up to like £68 or something a month, or £70 a month. I'm like, yeah, how about no? Like we don't get the extra value for that. Like we watch a lot of Sky upstairs, obviously with like Oliver and stuff, and we watch a lot of it down here. And the fact that we can record 7 channel, like 6 programs, and watch the 7th and stuff is really useful. Because the amount of stuff that he starts recording and we don't realise when he's just got all the controller. Like if we had the other, like the normal Sky HD box we used to have, like we would never be able to watch any of the shows we wanted to watch because it would always be like, you're recording these other things. You've run out of space. And I'm like, how? Like, what's going on here? But
delete all those episodes of Naked Attraction, Reg.
Yeah, that's it. So like I deleted, I think it was 103 episodes of Paw Patrol.
He's worked out how to series link.
Yeah, but not only series link, but then the repeated series links, it doesn't register. It's like, oh yeah, you've already got that one.
Oh, I hate that.
So here's like 14 episodes, just like episode 2. I'm like, I don't need 14 versions of episode 2. Just please, for the love of God, stop that. So it's infuriating, but
I can imagine.
At the same time, it's quite amusing. And we're like, I wonder what he's got now. And we're like, oh right, you start recording this, but then it'd be random channels as well from when he just picks up the controller and he's like, put this on. Yeah. And he'll like flick over to like Azerbaijan fucking 4 or whatever and start recording weird stuff on that. And I'm like, what's going on here? It's bizarre, but it's funny. Bless him. But he's now massively into Super Wings. That's his thing, which you can't watch.
One that I've heard of.
Can't watch anything else now. It has to be Super Wings. And I'm like, oh dear God.
Are they superheroes, or are they planes, or are they superhero planes?
No, they're not superheroes at all. They're a delivery service.
Right. Okay.
It's a plane called Jet.
Yeah.
Who's got the vision to complete the mission? He's a delivery plane. So he'll go and he'll like have to fly to like Japan, for example, say, because some kid ordered a black belt for his karate costume. So he'll fly all the way to Japan in the space of like half a day or something, and just be like, right, I'm there now. It's literally like, a 3-hour flight, and all of a sudden he's miraculously there in Japan straight away. And when he's there, because the planes talk and stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like when he gets there, he's like, "Hi, I'm Jet," and then he just like goes into the people's houses. Like he doesn't get invited. He's just like, "I brought you this package. I want to know what it is." Like he's a really nosy bastard. Right? So he'll go in and just be like, "Oh wow, so you got a black belt for your karate costume? Show me some karate."
Oh, it's South Korean, apparently.
And I'm just like, what? And then this kid will be like, oh, yeah, well, I need to go over to this competition here. Why don't you come with me? And he's like, sure, because I only deliver one package a day, obviously. So then he goes to fucking follow some kid off to this karate competition, and then someone's filming a monster movie film, which this kid isn't aware it's that. So this kid thinks, what will my hero do? Oh, I know, I'll take it on. But I need the help of Jet. So then Jet is like, oh, you know what we need? A superhero, a Super Wings team. Not superhero. So then he'll phone up his mates. One's like an ambulance, and the other one's like an old-fashioned plane or a police plane. And they get to them even quicker than how Jet did.
Wow.
Like,
are they like Transformers?
Sort of.
I'm just flicking through a clip on YouTube, and they're just doing this whole like transformation thing, almost like Voltron or something. Like they've sprouted legs.
Yeah.
And arms.
There's one bit when they go transform.
Yeah.
And they do that, but it's never for anything like, to fight anything or anything. It's always like, oh, I'll get this tractor out of some mud.
Right.
So I'm like, right, okay. So what about all these, like emergency services, like the breakdown rescue service and stuff that are in this country? Like, are they not needed anymore because these fucking Super Wings just randomly turn up and be like, hey, what's this? But Ash was just started laughing. She's like, is your life not any better that you have to talk about Super Wings even when you're watching it? No.
Well, I mean, I just don't get why. If I had wings, I would never walk anywhere. But they're just walking around like it's just a normal thing to do when they've got wings, like a massive set of wings on the back.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway. Yeah, let's not carry on talking about children's TV again. It always descends into this.
It really does, doesn't it?
Either you or it's Dave.
So what we can talk about, though, is I didn't realise this was a thing. And I also didn't realise that it wasn't a licensed thing.
Right.
So Doddy, our DM for the Nerdo D&D,
yes,
put up a trailer for a Nicolas Cage film.
Okay.
And he's saying, have you heard of Willy's Wonderland? Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's... I mean, I haven't.
Right. Okay, so Willy's Wonderland is basically, without Googling it, don't Google it just yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to run through a premise of a film for you, right? And then tell me if you think this sounds very familiar to something else.
Okay.
So the first trailer for Willy's Wonderland depicts a dire situation for Nicolas Cage. He's trapped inside a family pizza restaurant, which is overrun by killer animatronics. Okay. Nicolas Cage basically plays a janitor in this place who carries a dark secret which is going on. So basically he looks after and maintains this pizza place where these killer animatronics come to life only at night time, and he has to survive in this locked place with a family until sunrise, when apparently it's safe. Now, is it just me? Or does that sound very suspiciously like Five Nights at Freddy's?
It sounds absolutely like Five Nights at Freddy's.
And when you watch the trailer, it's so bad it's good. That's the annoying thing.
Yeah.
Like
I've got the poster up here and some screenshots, and Nicolas Cage looks like he's trying to make himself look quite a bit younger.
Yeah. See, the only thing is, because I'm in my work laptop, I can't Google Willy's Wonderland.
That makes sense.
So I can't look at that at the minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's got full on like dyed hair and beard and
yeah.
Okay, interesting.
The shotgun it looks so bad. But speaking of which, so Bar Lounge by us, which used to be our regular jaunt, pre-Oliver, have released all these restaurants are now going, hey, if you can buy our stuff and you can make it at home, like the homemade kits and stuff for all our foods.
Yeah, of course.
They're doing their honey mustard glazed sausages, which are just to die for.
Okay.
It's like when I was speaking to Mike over at yesterday in work, I was basically saying, I was like, yeah, when you work it out, I reckon I've probably spent about 300 quid just on the sausages alone, because they're only like about 3 quid for like 10 or whatever. But because we were there every single night, and every single night we would get a portion of these sausages, they are just little chipolatas, and they're amazing.
Right.
Well, they've said they're doing it for sort of charity. like any money they raise goes to this kids fund, and they're doing Sausage Fest. So you can order in packs of these sausages, £5 a pop, and you get 20 in each portion. So you can, but the way you've got to do it is you've got to you send an email through to sausagefest@barlounge.co.uk, which sounds quite innocent until you try doing it on your work laptop, and then also you've got to try and
trying to email.
Like, by the way, I know this comes across quite bad, but I've just emailed Sausage Fest, and Mark was like, I don't want to know. It's a bar lounge. Like, you could buy sausages and that to explain it all and send them the link to do it. But I was just like, proper made me chuckle, because I was like, every now and again, I always have to like phone up IT or something and be like, I know what it looks like, but it is a genuine, like, it's not a dodgy thing. It's something to do with this. So that was my one for this year so far. But so I'm looking forward to watching this Nicolas Cage one. Hopefully that's just straight to Amazon Prime or.
Now they've been working on a Five Nights at Freddy's movie for ages as well, though. Like there was I think it was a Reddit post. I can't remember what it was. But the guy who created Five Nights at Freddy's was talking about the whole process. And he was really open about it. Like he said, here's all the different variations of the scripts that I've seen in the 6 years that we've been trying to make this movie. And apparently it's got funded and everything, but they just can't get the script right. And there's all these versions that are like comedy, and there's some that are full on horror, and there's some where it's kids, and it's somewhere it's adults. And apparently they're about there on the script now, and it's supposed to be starting filming in spring this year, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it sounds like they were just a little bit late. Or Nicolas Cage was early.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's one of them, and it's like there's so many game adaptations that are being done, and there's certain ones that really don't need to be done. This is one that really doesn't need to be done.
Oh, and I can see it as a concept for a horror film. I mean, people even before Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm sure. I mean, we don't have what's it called? The pizza place with the animatronic characters in the States. I don't think I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember the name, but I know what you're on about.
Yeah, we like over there. I'm sure that is something that's been talked about before, and there's been all these little stories about the characters coming to life. So I understand where it's spun off from. So it could make a fairly decent concept. I don't think it can make a fairly decent concept to have two almost identical films. Yeah. But
God no.
I understand why they're doing it. I don't get the game. I've tried the game. It was free on like Amazon App Store at one point for Android, but I just don't get it. It's just like, look at the camera. Oh, look, there's a thing there coming for you. Right, shut the door. Oh, but you can only shut the door for a certain amount of time. It just, I don't know. It seemed like a really basic concept. I get that maybe the VR version.
The VR version's good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Fun. I'm sure they've added a lot more
into it. The thing does change. It's not just look at a camera and do this. You've got to go and do other things and bits and pieces as well. Okay. But I do completely agree with you that, like, before the VR version, I was like, this is just pretty naff. It's like a little flash game that you're like,
yeah, exactly. It's one of those games that it's just the YouTube and streaming that's really done it, isn't it? That's what's caused.
It's just jump scares, isn't it? Like, it's brilliant. Yes.
Yeah. So it's what's crazy. Think about how big Fall Guys was when that launched.
Yeah.
And everyone was playing it. And, I still put it on every now and again. I think it's still loads of fun. There's still plenty of people playing it, but it's yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're constantly bringing out new maps and new, obstacle courses and stuff. So it's keeping it fresh. But no one's talking about it anymore. Everyone's just Among Us.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
It's just mad.
See when the movie for that comes out.
You haven't had a huge craze like that for a long time. I think Fortnite was the last one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, hey, here's Fall Guys. And someone's gone, we were literally about to release a game. I'll tell you what, let's just fuck them off and just go for it with this one. When you thought, let them ride it out.
Yeah.
And then you literally go, like, okay, the hype's dying down, now go for it. But when Fall Guys was literally at its peak, Among Us go, hey, just stab it in the back and be like, it's our turn now.
They didn't, though. That's the thing. Among Us came out.
It's been a while. Yeah, sorry, just the hype, obviously, training.
Yeah, it was out for, was it a year or two or something? Probably, I think it was at least a year before.
It was 18 months, wasn't it? Because they were about to release the sequel just like, I think it was like 3 months after the hype came to it.
Wow.
And now they've gone, I tell you what then, guys, we'll do it as DLC.
Yeah.
Pay DLC instead. Right. So that people don't have to jump onto another one.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's $3.99 for the actual game, so to pay a little bit more to get some more DLC is great. But yeah, it is just, again, that was just, I don't know which streamers, but someone just picked it up and started streaming it, and everyone loved it.
See, what we need is someone to stream the Shenmue 1 and 2 remaster edition on Steam, just to get it going.
Yeah.
All the hype comes through. And that comes through.
I mean, to just, surely that it is fun enough just to stream someone walking around, buying drinks from vending machines, playing Lucky Hit, buying capsule toys, all that sort of stuff. That is a fun thing to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, you know what, it just looks a little bit too dated, me, and it's not really my bag. If you've got it on the PC, there's a beautiful community out there that are modding.
Oh, right.
The 1 and 2 remake. And the nice thing is, because it's not for profit, they're just gone like, hey, here we go. All we want to do is make this more up to date for people that weren't into it back then to try and get into it now. It looks a little bit more, but they're doing 2 versions of it. So over on the Shenmue Dojo forums, there's been a little team of fans that have been going at this for years, but finally stuff started coming out with it, and they're replacing the engine with the Unreal 4 engine.
All right, nice. That's what they used for 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to make it more in line, like streamline it to go with number 3. Yeah. So the aspect of there's two modes for this. So you've got the Shenmue Dragon and Phoenix collection is what it is. Okay, so the Phoenix one is basically just a 1-for-1 go of it. They're just trying to make it look all Unreal 4 beautiful, but not touch anything at all in terms of, adding new little tidbits to it. It's literally just going to be like ray tracing, making everything look a bit more realistic, and just make it so it's all like a big, huge map instead of loading screens going into buildings and stuff like that. It's all just going to be one big, huge thing. But they're not changing any like the animations or any of the systems, anything like that. It's just going to look shot for shot, which is awesome. And then they're doing the second one, which is the Dragon edition. Okay. The Phoenix edition. The Dragon one was that one. The Phoenix one, I think, on the other hand, is where they're literally doing a complete, utter modernization of it.
Oh, okay.
So they're transferring everything over to the Unreal 4 engine, and they're putting in, like, they haven't finished doing tidbits and stuff to it. But they're putting in like stamina systems, not the one that's as bad as Shenmue 3, but that's going to be in there just so that when you get into Shenmue 3, it's more along that sort of line. They're changing up the animations for like the combat and stuff like that, just to make it look and play just like you're actually going through 1, 2, and 3, and there's the changes coming up and everything's all running smoothly, and just to make it look modern the way that Shenmue 3 does. So we'll soon be able to play Shenmue 1 and 2. Making it look
Shenmue 3 style glory.
Yeah, making it look like you're playing Shenmue 3. Or if you want it more aligned to Shenmue 3, you can use the other mod of it where it does that. But apparently the most important change is the fact they're adding more cassettes to the Tomato store.
Yes. Brilliant.
So I know a lot of people are like, that's not good. No, that's great. The amount of times that you go through them in your cassette player.
Yes.
It's always fun. But it's great. So because it's just a modded version of the game, it's not like, hey, we're doing this for sale and stuff. It's like, here's the assets. As long as you've got it on Steam.
As long as Sega or whoever has the license, it's still Sega for 1 and 2, isn't it? As long as they allow it, because the amount of fan sort of remakes and mods that have happened for games, and then they've been hit with like a cease and desist.
Yeah, the nice thing is with Sega, Konami, Capcom, and Nintendo are the worst. Like Nintendo
Nintendo
are
is just
shocking for it, but Sega are like, yeah, go on, we'll even sell it for you. Sonic Mania. It's like,
true,
so well.
very true.
Yeah. Oh, they'll bring you on as like indie devs and stuff like that. That's how a lot of these little games come from Sega.
Yeah.
But they're quite content because it's not tinkering with the fact, with their stuff. It's just, hey, here's the file. All we're doing is putting this file in instead, and it's fine. We're not changing stuff, so I can't see any issue at all. I don't think with it getting cancelled in the way that it's just that. So yeah, fingers crossed. There's no release date for it as of yet because it's still in the works. But how awesome is that going to be now?
That sounds amazing. Now, I've been playing a game that I'm both really enjoying, but it's really infuriating me for reasons maybe you wouldn't expect, or maybe you would. But I'm trying to find out what it was that made me go, I need to play that. But on Sunday, I started playing Yakuza Kiwami.
Okay.
I was like, do you know what? I need to start playing the Yakuza games. I must have seen something online or something that made me go, why am I not playing this game? Because there's two things that surely make it ideal for me. One, you're literally running around the streets of Tokyo, which I'm up for in any game. And two, it's like Shenmue. It's just like Shenmue.
It's not though. Please don't say that.
But no, right. There's definitely at no point am I going to get the same sort of feelings that I do for Shenmue. Shenmue is far more about I love the story, I love the characters. A lot of the characters in the Yakuza games are not likable because they are, criminals or whatever. But there's a lot of similarities. To the point, the bit that I'm enjoying is I'm loving running around Shinjuku and going, and I put it on and I was showing Shell, and I was like, hey, should we go, I knew where I was, I was like, should we go around the corner to Don Quixote, which is like this, just it is equally the best and the worst shop you'll ever go to. It's like 7 floors of just junk. It's so much rubbish that they sell. They sell everything, and it's noisy, and it's just like an overload of senses. It's ridiculous. And I was like, that's around the corner from here. And I went running around the corner, and there was actually the Don Quixote. Like, they've licensed it, and it is there, and you can go into the shop, and the song's playing and everything. But I love that feeling of like, oh yeah, it's just around the corner. And like we talked ages ago, we talked a few times about LA Noire. And the old guy who used to be a policeman around there, I know what's down this street. I drive down here. It was like that. It's literally, I'm just walking around the streets going, I know that shop's there. I know what's there. I know there's a convenience store there, and there is a convenience store there. It's amazing. So I love that. But in terms of the bit that's infuriating me is how have they made 8 of these games? So they made 1 to 7. They've made 0, and then they've also remade 5 of them for the PlayStation 4. So there are 8 games on this. They've got the budget for them, and they do fairly well. How have they done 8 of these, yet they can't just get their act together and do another Shenmue?
Because the budget for Yakuza was nowhere near as high.
But I don't understand why.
And it's the gameplay honestly, more for Yakuza, and I think because you've also got the name Yakuza. So if you do a synopsis of, okay, here's the plot of Shenmue, or like here's what you're doing in Shenmue, and then here's what you're doing in Yakuza, to I'd say about 70% of the modern gaming population, I think you'd probably get a bigger hit for right. Yakuza sounds good because Yakuza, the Mafia.
Okay.
Like, so it's going to be like
it's a Sega game, okay?
No.
And Sega had the license for Shenmue. So if they announced, forget that Shenmue 3 ever happened. If Sega had gone, right, you know what? everyone, the Yakuza people, who there'd always been this
I would hate it.
this thing about the Yakuza being the game that made
spiritual successor.
Yeah, which I totally get, because it's very it has a lot of similarities. I know it's not the same, but there's a lot of similarities, and that you can't talk to everyone, but you can talk to a lot of people. You can go into a lot of shops. There's lots of similar sort of things. So if they are gone, right, the people who made the Yakuza games are gonna, with the supervision of Yu Suzuki, are gonna make the next Shenmue. I feel like it wouldn't have got anywhere near the backlash that it did. I think a lot of people would have gone, yeah, do you know what? Okay, this is the next thing. Because Yakuza Kiwami came out, I was having a look at about 2 or 3 years before Shenmue 3 came out. And people complain about how Shenmue 3 looks old. Like, it looks so much better than Kiwami does. It looks better than Kiwami 2. It looks better than any of the remake. It looks better than the number 5.
Yeah.
So it just it baffles me that they didn't see that as a sensible thing to do, because we've got another 2 Shenmue games that we need to be made to finish it off, right? There's 5.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. I feel like Shenmue 3 turning out as it did, which I really, really enjoyed. I really liked it. I loved the little changes. Lots that I loved about it. Lots that I could see why people didn't like it. It just didn't do the business to the point where, I'm worried that there's not going to be another one, because I think it's also lost the impact of doing a Kickstarter. If they did another Kickstarter, people would just be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much different. I feel like just playing that game and just seeing all the little similarities, knowing that, right, these people are used to making this sort of game. Let's just get the guy with the vision in to say, right, okay, let's take that and let's expand on it and have Shenmue 3 and 4 and 5 as they're supposed to be. I feel like it would have had a bit more of the backing, because the fans would have been like, the fans of those sorts of games would have bought into it a little bit more. So I don't know. It just playing it, I see so much of Shenmue in it, and like I said, not in the same way. I'm not getting the same sort of feelings of like, of wow, this game is amazing, like I did with Shenmue 1 and 2, and to a lesser extent 3, but still got the feels of 3. But yeah, I see so much of it in it. But I am actually really enjoying it. The fighting style is kind of really nice and accessible. I was really confused as to where to start, though. And I was reading lots of things about people saying start with 0, because that is
that's what I did
in the story.
Kiwami 0, wherever it was.
Well, just 0. Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are 1 and 2's remake. Kiwami means extreme in Japanese, but a lot of people saying no, start with 0, because 1, that first of all, that's one of the better ones. It's better than 1. So, but then you'll play 0 and it'll be amazing, and then you'll play 1 and it's not quite as good. But then I was like, well, but if I'm watching Star Wars, I watch Star Wars 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and 6, and then I go back and watch 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll watch 7, 8, and 9, because they were made before. Part of watching 1, 2, and 3 is all the little things of like, hey, this is this character's origin, this is this character's origin. So you almost, if I play 0 first, I'll miss all of that, because I won't get it. I won't know who anyone is, a lot of things I read says, look, this sets up the first and the second and onwards pretty well, and you get to see all these characters. But yeah, I was like, no, do you know what? I'm going to play them. If I am going to play past this, which I think I probably will get a few more, I'm going to play them in the order they were released, I think. And
I think the issue I had, I enjoyed 0. I think I got about something stupid like 30 or 40 hours into it. And it's all right. It's just it did get quite samey. But my main concern is, well, not concern, but my main thing was it was fucking massive for the style of game it was. Because it's a very arcadey game, like very, very arcadey, and that's like the combat and stuff like that. That's exactly how it felt. and all the little sections were sort of cut off and put into bits and pieces. So you're running this one strip, you're doing this a little bit, and some of the characters and stuff were entertaining and stuff. So it was all right. It just seemed to just never end. It just kept going and going, and in the end, I was like, I've had my fill of it. It was fun.
Fair enough. I'm like 6 chapters into I think there's 12 or 13 chapters in this one. So I don't think that means I'm halfway through. I think they get longer as you go through. But,
that's the issue.
I'm sort of it's starting to open up a lot more now. In that there's lots of. I mean, I think that the things that I'm really sort of comparing with are, like, say, going into the shops and collecting all the little things, and then all the little side games as well. Like, I spent about an hour doing slot car racing, like customizing my car, and I love things like that. But it's the only thing that is completely different. It's got a lot of sort of cheesiness to it and sort of crazy stuff, like the slot car racing and how and also in one, and I don't know whether it's the same in a lot of the others. One of the characters basically just constantly wants to fight you, and he keeps finding increasingly crazy ways to get into a fight with you. Like the first time you meet him, he's like, "Come on, we're going to fight," and you're like, "No, I'm not fighting unless I've got a reason." Next time, he gives you a reason, and then he has to find. Well, from what I can tell, you have to fight him about 30 times, so there's going to be 30 different reasons. There was one where I went into a bar with someone to get a drink with them because I can't remember what it was. I think I saved them from some creepy guy, and I went in, and then it turned out he was the bartender, and he gave me some drinks, and I drank them, and then he was like, "That's going to be like $20,000." And I'm like, "I'm not paying that." And he goes, "Well, you're going to have to fight me then." And then we went and had a fight. It was either, do you want to pay him or do you want to fight him? So I had to fight him. Next time he was dressed up as a police officer, and he was like, "If I find any weapons on you, then there's going to be trouble." So I had to have a weapon on me, and then he had to fight me. It's just, it's very, very weird. But I'm enjoying it. I'll see whether, I think I saw a trailer for 7, the latest one, which from what I can tell is actually a little... Yeah, absolutely, but it's also different characters and stuff, isn't it? So maybe that would have been a better one to just play standalone. But I've heard some very good things about that, and that one looked really interesting, and that made me go, do you know what? Kiwami was on PlayStation Plus, so I've got that. It's free. Let me play it. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad I dug into it. But part of it is definitely like, wow, look, I'm running around Tokyo. I know what that is. And apparently I get to go to Osaka soon, which sounds fun.
See, I think you'd love Persona 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right, and I will get onto it. Don't worry about that. The last thing I think before we go, because I think we're just about running out of time. We're getting up to an hour now. We didn't talk last week about, or we touched on it briefly about Resident Evil, about Village.
Yeah.
And sort of they've released the gameplay trailer for that, and they've also released the demo, which is PlayStation 5 only, right?
Yeah, annoyingly for now.
Yeah, it's very short though. You can watch someone playing it on YouTube. In fact, did we talk about it not being VR? Was that on pod or was that off pod? I can't remember.
That was off pod. That one.
Off pod. Okay. So yeah, they're not doing a VR version, which sounds disappointing. But
it makes no sense considering how one of the key strengths that people talked about so much, and the amount of reviews they were getting for not porting it over to the PC, doing it for that. I don't understand why they've gone, yeah, you know what, we're just going to take it out completely.
Yeah, I don't understand how much how it's saying any extra work, because I think you were saying that there is a mod for Steam where it'll turn pretty much any game into a virtual reality game.
Yeah.
So if it's that easy to just go, okay, let's take this first-person shooter and let's put a second camera in so it's 3D and send it to your visor or whatever, I don't understand why they can't add it in, unless my theory is anyway that they saw how kind of 7 sold and were like, well, hang on, we shouldn't have given that away free. It shouldn't have just been part of the game. Why don't we sell the game on its own for however long? Then whenever PlayStation VR 2 eventually comes out in, let's say, a year or two, let's re-release it as a VR standalone game.
Yeah, I hope
it'll happen, I'm sure.
I understand if they do like a season pass or something.
Yeah.
No, I sort of get it. If you're going to put that into a season pass and say, listen, it's going to take a lot more work in order for us to convert it the way we want it to be done, then, I sort of get that. But at the same time, it was one of the best things having that. Like, that's probably up there as one of my all-time favorite gaming experiences.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely adored Resi 7 in VR. And considering if you go back to our PS5 launch pod, where they announced it and they were doing like the reveals of the games coming out, and I was like, oh yeah, Resi 8, The Village, and I was like, is it really Resi 8? Because it's got werewolves and vampires and weird things in it. It's now like not Resi at all now. And then watching the latest trailer, I'm like, you know what? That's just full on Resi. The vibe, the atmosphere.
The game's changed, hasn't it? It's just it's changed to a new thing, which is equally as good, or it's good in its own way. Let's say. Yeah,
and as I say, and the residents that are evil of this village or this massive castle.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So the two things I wanted to talk about those. So obviously, you probably heard, but the big apart from people saying, yeah, this game looks great, the big internet thing was the main 9 foot tall vampire lady and her daughters, I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or they're her sisters, and how like people are just thirsting over them. So the first thing was literally 2 days after they dropped the trailer, one of the voice actresses for one of the vampire sisters or whatever died. She had colon cancer. So I'm sure everyone knew it was coming. So I'm curious whether they were like, let's get this out, before as a bit of a tribute, or just got to move on, I suppose. But the other thing, the internet was so obsessed with this to the point where the Resident Evil official Twitter account had to put out a statement about the characters. Have you read this? Yeah. So your love for Lady Dimitrescu is loud and clear. Here's a message from our Resident Evil Village art director, Tomonori Takano, along with a very curious fact you may have wondered about. So, hi everyone, I'm Tomonori Takano, art director of Resident Evil Village. I want to use this opportunity to publicly reflect on the outpouring positivity we received from fans in our latest announcement. As a representative of the development team, thank you all the fans who continue to follow us. Most recently, Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters, have received a fair amount of attention, far more than we anticipated. It's great that they're able to take the spotlight as icons of Resident Evil Village. Lady Dimitrescu especially has received much fanfare, both domestically and overseas. Yeah, fanfare. Which has made us all of us in the development team extremely happy. I hear her height is something of interest. If you include her hat and high heels, she's 2.9 meters, approximately 9'6" tall. These bewitching vampire characters are relentless in the pursuit of Ethan, and I can't wait for you to meet them all.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It went a bit like Bowsette, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. They were like, how am I supposed to be scared of these when all I want to do is motorboat this vampire lady?
Which is, and the weirdest thing is, out of all of it, until I went on Reddit, I never even thought about it.
No.
And now it's one of those where you're like, oh, God damn it. Please don't ruin it for me. But the one thing I really want to know is, what the hell is Ethan doing all the way over there? Why?
Well, we'll find out, Reg.
I hope it's a really good explanation for it. Because I thought they're going to do like the soft reboot of the series, and then obviously they're bringing Chris Stuffen back, and like, what? And Ethan, he was all right as a main character in 7, but it was more the residents of the family and stuff that were the start shining light. Like, he was just a bit of in effect, the side character.
Is it not the case of, because it was first person, you never really, I mean, did they show him as a person? Was there any third person bits like cutscenes or anything like that? Cutscenes are all still in first person, like in game, aren't they?
In game, it's all first person. There's artwork and stuff out there that shows you what it looks like, and all that sort of stuff.
I don't think you can quite be as attached to a character when you never get to actually see them, as much as, you look at whoever like Barry Burton and all these characters that you tend to love from the first few. I
think it's just the thing is, obviously, I think the other characters were just far more out there. I think that's what the thing with 7 is, because it was the like proper hills have eyes, sort of like family, and each one was more mental than the last. That his normal personality, because I'm a normal person, is just going out looking for a sort of my ex-wife. Like that, it just his little story just seemed to be like, okay, I'm looking for my wife, and that's it. Whereas these were just more eccentric. They come, like the more they come, so he sort of fell by the wayside a bit.
Right.
So I'm intrigued to know why they're like that. What we're going to do with Ethan now. What we're going to do to make him be like, this is it. Like, go with it.
Have they got his daughter or something? I think I read.
I'm not 100%. If I'm completely honest, mate, I tried to do my little thing that I like to do with games that I really want to play. I try and avoid the most. If I can.
Sorry. I mean, no, they definitely don't have.
Oh no, it's fine. Like, obviously, there's a reason why he's out there.
Yeah. It is a bit crazy that you get through all of that first one, the horrific things that you've seen and had to do in 7, the first one in 7, and then you're like, I'm going to go to this castle. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Throw yourself back into it.
It just seems a bit weird.
Yeah. Because am I right? Is he just he's one of the investigators for the TV show, or is he a cameraman or something? I can't remember. I remember the main things that I know about it are playing the demo and doing the actual real life experience. Which, to be fair, if they did another one, I would go back to that. So maybe that's it. Maybe he just wanted to feel that rush again.
I would, but I really, really pooped myself.
So good. So good.
It was just so amazing.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go on our YouTube channel about 5 years ago, and we talk about going to the Resident Evil experience that they put on in London. And
because it wasn't far. It wasn't that long ago. Like 5 years into the day, I think it popped up on my Facebook memories like about 3 days ago. Just saying, in London, anyone know where I can get new pants? I think is what it was, and I was like, yeah, that was just all sorts of just horrendous and amazing. So obviously when they shown off the gameplay demo for this, like the trailer for this, and they also shown off some more footage and stuff. It was at the Resident Evil announcements, like the showcase. Sorry, not the announcement, Resident Evil showcase, where they also shown off a pretty shitty looking Resident Evil RE-verse. So Resi has this thing where I don't know why, but they want to keep trying multiplayer games when they know it never works out. Like, Outbreak was just crap. Survivors was crap. The last one that was on the Resi 3 remake wasn't great. Like, I think they even shut the servers down for that because it just didn't do great. And now they're doing it again. They're doing a sort of everyone at each other multiplayer version where it's a bit more cel-shady, like a comic booky, the way the characters look. But you go across all the like iconic locations, so like the Baker Mansion, the police station, the Star's headquarters, the Spencer Mansion as well, which comes through. I'm trying to think of the name of the first one off the top of my head. So you go across all those, and you've got characters from all across the games with their iconic weapons and stuff like that. It looks very, very naff. And when you consider it's the 25th anniversary, they're like, hey, here's some stuff. And there's the live series in the make. There's the film, the reboot film, which sounds awesome. And they're showing you the props of the helicopter and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that looked great. And then on the showcase, didn't mention any of these two things. The only thing they're showing you was like a little movie tease, which was done a while back for the Resident Evil Netflix Leon movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which was in the works, which no one really cares about because the Resident Evil animated film's pretty shite. And then they ended it weirdly on a fucking Division 2 crossover. And like, hey, you can get Leon Kennedy's outfit just for a set period of time. So, in fact, from today up until the 15th, I think it is the 2nd to the 15th, I think it was, if I remember correctly, you got the Leon Kennedy's outfit for the crossover.
Wow, okay.
And like a few other items. I was like, for the showcase, you thought they would have done something a bit more special. to come through. It just seemed a bit of a letdown, so to speak, like ending it with that sort of stuff and not even just showing off a glimpse of the reboot film and the live action TV series, even if it's just like meet the cast or like here's some screenshots and stuff of what the concept art looks like for some of the characters and like that sort of stuff. Just something to make us go, ooh, yeah, well excited about that. You started off so strong with the Resi Village gameplay and all the footage from that, and you're like, yeah, this looks great. And they've gone, right, all the good stuff's out of the way. If you want to leave now, you're not going to miss anything. Don't worry, guys. And then just shown a shit show. And so it just seemed a bit of a shame and a waste. But, that's just me.
I don't know. I don't really ever watch any of the Netflix stuff. I know it all looks quite intriguing, but, I've spent too much time just rewatching Lost and 24 and stuff. I haven't got time to watch anything new.
You sound just like Sean and
that was what I was going for. Anyway, I think we've run out of time, Reg.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Screech from Saved by the Bell passing away.
Oh, yeah, R.I.P. Screech.
Yeah, you won't be missed.
Didn't he get cancelled though? Like, are we? Yeah. Is there a point where the internet's decided that they're going to forgive cancelled people and that point is when they die?
I think it's when they die, yeah, because the amount of people that were like, oh, yes, he's great. I'm like, was he? Sure, he wasn't. He was a nasty person.
Anyway. Yeah, it's a shame. I know he wasn't involved in the reboot, was he? So
no, which apparently is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I've heard decent things.
So I'm intrigued. I don't know if I'll ever get around to watching it, but I'm really intrigued by it.
Yeah. Same for the Mighty Ducks remake is coming onto Disney Plus. The trailer dropped for that. It's got Emilio Estevez in it.
Yeah. So
no Joshua Jackson though. I mean, come on. If you're going to do it, get Joshua Jackson to be the new coach.
I was working the other day on the laptop, and Ash took Oliver upstairs after he was playing around here, and she was like, "Right, nap time." Mm-hmm. And then I could hear something on the telly, and I was like, "What the bloody hell's that?" And it was like some proper old cartoon. I'm like, that looks really weird. What the fuck's that? And then all of a sudden the actual Ducks came on. I was like, was this the Mighty Ducks cartoon?
Was it the Mighty Ducks cartoon?
Yeah. And I was like,
yes.
Huh.
It was so bad.
Wow, this is bad. Yeah, mate, it was awful. I had no idea how bad it was again. Like, it's been that many years since I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, that did not age well at all.
No, I don't think that stuck around very long. I don't think it was very
No,
long.
It didn't. I think it was only like a season.
Yeah, but there are like 400 episodes of DuckTales and Gummy Bears and Darkwing Duck for you to get Oliver into.
Yeah, I just need...
I need start to be interested in them. And Turtles, obviously.
Yeah, I need Nickelodeon to join one of these streaming services or start their own.
Yeah,
because there's no... You can't go on anything... Well, you can go on YouTube, apparently. There's like a few of the series on YouTube, but you can't go to Turtles anywhere. Like, it's no longer on Sky anymore. We went to watch an episode the other night. And the annoying thing with Sky recordings now is they have an end date, which is ridiculous. So it must be like certain licenses for shows on certain channels, like you've got the license up until like Feb or something, and then that's it. So like we had like the entire 2012 run recorded, and then day by day we're losing 6 or 7 episodes that are sort of a pop, and now we've got 4 episodes remaining from that season. And I'm like, well, this is awful. I'll tell you what, I'll just type in Turtles on Sky and I'll re-download them. Not there anymore. And I was like, oh, God, Netflix doesn't have any of the cartoons. They've only got the next mutation.
Oh, dear.
And like Amazon Prime doesn't have any of them. You can buy them as a series for like fucking stupid prices, but you can't just watch them. And obviously Disney doesn't have it because it's not Disney. But there's nothing where you can watch, unless if you've got a Roku box or a smart TV that can play Pluto TV. I don't know if you ever heard of Pluto TV, but Pluto TV is awesome. It's basically just like an internet TV.
Okay.
But it's got a setup. It's like looks like an app. You just download it onto your smart TV or whatnot. And it looks like Sky Guide, like the Sky TV planner. you go through, and they've got channels for absolutely everything, and one of them is just a Turtles channel. But there's no like, here's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and goes through. It's just like, here's Turtles, and it's just in like random orders and stuff.
All right.
But you can go on and watch that, and that's all free. Pluto TV is free, but they've got it for literally any sort of channel you can think of. You're like, to be fair, it wouldn't even surprise me if we've got our own channel on there because we've got a YouTube page. I think that must be what it works from, because like IGN and stuff have one.
Right. Okay.
So I'm thinking, I wonder if it's just that. I'm not 100% certain, but I'll need to have an investigation. But we borrowed our spare TV and our Roku box during just before lockdown, the first lockdown, to one of our friends, because she was looking after her mum. She went in and made sure that like her mum had someone to be with her.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's nice, but they don't have like the internet or anything. So we're like, I'll tell you what, you can borrow our TV and our Roku. That's fine. Pass it on to them. Like, genuine. No, we'll get them more back. So we got the TV back, and they nicked our Roku box, and she disappeared off the face of the earth.
How rude!
So like, that's very rude. So that's why we had to get Sky Q upstairs now, because we're like, well, fucking hell. So yeah, so now I can't do Pluto TV apart from the internet, which is annoying.
Oh dear.
So, but hey ho, there you go. There's another 10,000 channels that you can watch for yourself, mate.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're all right.
Right. Anyway, I'll let you go, and I'll get back to getting a video ready for Thursday.
Excellente. We'll get back to doing what I do best.
This is what you do best, Reg.
Yep, mull around and wait till Wednesday.
Right, it's been a pleasure.
It has been. Thanking you for having us. Thanking you for listening.
See you next week. Bye.
Toodles.